we're going to be beginning this stretch break today with that chest stretch, just that opener. I'm using a band, whatever you have at home, whether it be a towel, a broom, a blanket, something that you can open your hands like with this, get some tension and just pull back there. That's all you're going to need that equipment for at the start of today's class. If you don't want to grab it, don't worry. This is just going to be a short moment stretch. It's the only time we're going to use this equipment, and we're really on our own time because everybody will be utilizing a different piece of equipment. So if you have a towel versus this band, you may have to take longer or shorter stretch induced activities like this before you need to take a little bit of a break. So go ahead, enjoy that. Really just focus on yourself a little bit. If you ever need a break, feel free to just pull those arms over, stretch it out, shake it out a little bit before you're ready to re-engage. All right, there, guys. Go ahead, put that piece of equipment off to the side. What I'm gonna have you do here next, just a hamstring stretch. You're gonna fold your body over at the hips, hinging down, and then even there, you can relax your back. Normally, when we hinge down, we tell you guys to keep a nice straight back, but right here, I'm giving you permission to unleash that lower back, straighten out those muscles or relax those muscles. Let your spine extend and flex over. So you're stretching both your hamstrings and your low back right here. You can touch the ground if you want to, your toes, or you can just cross your arms here and let your body fold over. If you ever feel you need to come up for a little bit of a break, the thing I want you to do is in this position, you're going to put your hands as far down on your shins as they can go. And then you're going to slowly extend your low back so that it is in that nice straight back position. And your hands are going to end somewhere around your knees. From there, you're going to hinge forward, activating those glutes and those hamstrings to come up. We want to do that with the back nice and straight. We're not utilizing any weights, but this is just a good low back protective mechanism to use. So if you ever feel you need to come up, go ahead and do that. But until then, just enjoy the stretch a little bit longer down here. And from there, guys, I'm going to have you push your hands on your shins, do that back extension motion. Our hands come up and hinge forward here. From there, you're going to spread your legs a little bit. You're going to do pretty much the same thing, except we're going to focus a little bit more on the interior thigh muscles rather than the posterior thigh muscles. Bending down there. We're still definitely going to feel a little bit of a stretch in those hamstrings. I want you to also feel a good amount in the inside of your thighs. And again, this is one where you can let your hands touch the ground or you can cross your arms, giving you guys that option at home. And then from there, I want you to lean over to one side, really put it on that hip adductor, those interior thigh muscles right here, by leaning over to one side. Go ahead, raise it up, lean it over to the other side. Go ahead, back to center. Raise yourself up. Go ahead, close the gap between those legs. We're going to be on the ground here next in this lunge position. We're going to do a little bit of a dynamic hip flexor, hamstring lunge stretch. We're going to start in this lunge position. We drop down into a Spider-Man and we lean back into a hamstring. But first, I want us up in this neutral lunge position with a neutral pelvis and upright torso, and just lean that forward, stretching this back hip flexor here for me. And then from there, you guys, you drop it down to a Spider-Man stretch. That hip comes down to the ground. Hands support our upper torso. And from there, we drop it back. So that back, or that hip goes over that back ankle. This front leg extends, and we have a hamstring stretch right in front of us. And raise it up. We're going to do that one more time, you guys. And drop it down, Spider-Man. And take it back, hamstring. From there, you guys can go ahead, switch over, doing the same thing, 2 rounds the other side. Neutral pelvis, upright torso here in this lunge position as we just drive forward for us. And then we're going to drop it down into the Spider-Man stretch. And we're going to knock it back, hamstring. One more time through for us, guys. Knock it down, Spider-Man. And take it back, hamstring. And from there, I'm going to have you guys switch it back over to that first hip flexor here. We're just going to be in a normal lunge position, but we're going to slow it down a little bit. Holding this for a little bit longer, what we're going to do is you have a few options here. You got to keep in this normal one, but if you need a little bit more of an intense stretch, a couple options you have. You can rotate into this top leg here. You can also lean over towards this top leg. And if neither one of those work, and again, I would give each of those a good few seconds, handful of seconds before you try this next one. But you can slightly, ever so slightly, tilt your pelvis back just a little bit, or tilt your torso back a little bit. And the reason why we utilize that one as a last resort is because we have our hip flexors cross over that pelvis bone. And doing that can be a little irritating to the bone, the tendons, and the muscles in that area. So let's try these other alternatives first before we go back too far on that one. And if we do decide to go back, really do be gentle. But some of us do really have very flexible hip flexors, but most of us probably are in a boat where we can just enjoy this or one of these additional add-ons. And right there, guys, I'm going to have you rotate it on over. And you're going to do the exact same thing. Find whichever stretch might work best for you. And don't just assume you're going to be at the same flexibility for each one. Some of us do have different level of flexibility for each muscle group. We like to think of ourselves as symmetrical beings, but sometimes we just do have that imbalance. So take yourself through those motions. Start up upright, then try rotating, try leaning, and see if you can't get some benefit along the way. And right there, you guys are going to take it on down to the ground. Legs are going to spread, capitalizing off of that first movement here. I'm going to stretch right down the center for us. And right there, guys, you're going to go ahead and raise it up. We're going to take it down to the mat here, focusing on our glutes. And a good glute muscle to focus on is the piriformis muscle. It's a small abductor muscle or muscle that makes our legs go out like that. It tends to get tight while we're sitting all day. So what we do is we put one ankle on the opposite knee. Then we grab that bottom knee and we just pull her in. Should be feeling a stretch on the outside of that hip bone, the outside of that upper leg. Feel free to roll your ankles here in either direction as well. Go ahead, reset. Same thing, opposite leg. And you can roll that ankle. Why we want to roll that ankle is it's a very small but potentially highly beneficial way to get blood flow from that area back up to the heart. We tend not to think of it. We have all these big muscles that like to get nice and tight throughout the day, but a lot of blood struggles to get back up to our heart from our ankles. And doing stuff like this little rolling could help some of us. And right there, guys, go ahead, sit up for me. We're going to conclude. Do one of my favorite stretches, stretch that doesn't take a whole lot of time, just 30 seconds to a minute each direction. But it's the neck stretch. Great way to get blood flow going back up to the brain to help us refocus and re-energize at any point of our day. And what we're going to start off doing is just dip this chin down to our chest. This is stretching the back of our neck right now. We don't really want to. We want to avoid using our hands right here, guys, because our heads are actually really heavy compared to the musculature and bone structure of our neck. So any additional load is really unnecessary. We're gonna raise our heads up there. Now tilting them back so our chin goes up to the ceiling. We're stretching the front of our neck. From there, guys, we're gonna lower it down one ear. Same side shoulder, stretching the side of our neck here. and raise it up. Same thing, opposite side.